Hello, it's K-Time, and welcome back to another deck profile. It's been a while. This time featuring Cendrillmon and the new promos for the deck. So we have another promo for it. And now I actually have promo cards. I thought I'd do a deck profile. Starting off with the eggs, we have 4 copies of the starter deck Cendrillmon. This is definitely the best egg for the deck. When attacking, if we have another Digimon, draw one. Draw power is obviously good, and it's very easy with all the tokens and level 3s that we play out to have another Digimon. Yeah, not much else to say. It's just a egg that gives us draw one pretty reliably in the deck. I used to just run the 4 eggs because we are pretty fast deck, so we either win or lose before we run out of eggs anyways. But with EX8, actually I'm running a 5th egg, which is 1 copy of the EX8 Cocomon. It has the effect, when attacking, if we have other Digimon, one of our opponent's Digimon gets minus 2000 DP for the turn. So it has the same activation requirement as the Cendrillmon, but instead of drawing one, we give one opponent's Digimon minus 2000. This is pretty nice. We get rid of a lot of rookies with this effect. And it can stack with the other DP minus effects we do, and sometimes the extra minus 2000 makes a difference. I was running it purely because it's nice to have 5 eggs rather than 4, on the off chance we do get to that 5th egg. However, it doesn't actually come up very often, so if you prefer the 4 eggs and the more reliable draw power, you can just run 4 Cendrillmon. I thought it was a worthy consideration as a 5th egg to run the Cocomon. Going on to our level 3s, starting off with the best one, is 4 copies of the starter deck Shoeshoemons. Not much else to say. Like the Cendrillmon that comes in the green starter deck, this on play is pretty crazy because reveal top 3, add 1 puppet and 1 liberator trait. So most of the time we do grab 2 cards. Because any of our Shoeshoemon line are both Puppet and Liberator, so we can grab 2 of those. We can grab like any Digimon, almost, and then one of our Tamers. And also like we have options that have Liberator trait as well. So we don't always grab 2 things. We can't grab like an Obstinate and a Tamer. We can't grab Aces, stuff like that. But it's a really good search effect. Only looks at top 3, but you'll almost never whiff with this effect, and you'll usually grab 2 things. The line has a common digital inheritable effect to give all of our opponents security minus 3000. This might sound kind of average, but having multiple of these in the field, and because it applies for whenever anything hits your opponent's security, it means a lot of level 3s and tokens can just survive insane checks. Having 2 of these effects out, minus 6000, means that our 1000 Shoeshoemons can survive against level 4s in security, as an example. But yeah, it kind of feels like it doesn't do a lot until none of your stuff dies in security. So actually it's pretty nice in that regard. But yeah, this is the minus 3000. I'll reference it multiple times because multiple things have the same inheritable. But yes, 4 copies of the starter deck Shoeshoemon is a must. The next level 3 is 4 copies of the EX7 Shoeshoemon. It has exactly the same inheritable, security minus 3000. Its effect is it lets you digivolve into a puppet trait for 1 less. This is obviously really good because that 1 memory can make a huge difference. It lets us do stuff like go straight from a level 3 into Cendrill and attack with Overclock in the same turn. Which is obviously really nice. And because it says puppet trait, even if you're running like the starter deck puppet stuff, you can still digivolve into those cards for 1 less as well. So yes, doesn't really search or do anything else, but the extra memory is always welcome. Last up for the Shoeshoemons, I'm running 2 copies of the promo Shoeshoemon. At the end of the deck profile, I will be going through changes if you don't have access to the promos or they're too expensive. Shout out to my friend Jake for letting me borrow these cards. I really like this as a defensive option. On play, one of our opponent's Digimon gets security attack -1 until the end of their turn. Obviously, if we play it out during our turn, the effect lasts until the end of their turn. Can help us. But I find it that it comes up more often as an emergency button. If we're able to play a Shoemon during opponent's turn, just when they think they have game, we play this out, security -1, we might live. And then if we have a number of things aboard, we just swing with everything and get game the turn after that. We're not a very good defensive deck, so having stuff like this is actually surprisingly helpful. The promo line has the when attacking effect to give one of our opponent's Digimon -2000. So we don't lower their security, we just lower one of their Digimon. Again, like with the egg, -2000 does come up, especially if you have multiple instances of it. I don't know if it's better or worse. I do miss having security -3000 if there's nothing in this deck that has it. But a couple of these is really nice too. But the main reason I'm playing is for the on-play. And it's also Shoemon, and there's literally no other Shoemons yet. So if you want more Shoemons, then that's the only choice. So that's 10 Shoemons. Finishing off the level 3s, we have 2 copies of Pawn Chessmon and 1 copy of the Junkmon. These are all from the starter deck. Junkmon has Decoy, which can give protection, and Inheritable Barrier, which also just makes it so if we swing, or just can protect ourselves from being deleted in battle. This is really nice. However, I find that Junkmon tends to just get removed first. Barrier is good, especially if they swing into, like our Cendrillmon, we have Barrier. So against certain matchups, Barrier is really, really good. Against other matchups, it doesn't really do a lot. But I like Junkmon as the perfect card to fill in. So whatever ratios you want to change, Junkmon's really good to fill in those ratios. And then 2 copies of Pawn Chessmon, because I feel like a weakness of the deck is being able to keep on searching and drawing. And if we keep on playing out level 3s for free, we end up running out of cards in our hand, or run out of level 3s in our hand. So this is really nice, because on play we can discard a puppet to draw 2. So it just gives us more cards. It also has Reboot and Inheritable, which doesn't really come up often, but can't hurt. Only downside is that it costs 1 to Digivolve on. So this is our lowest priority card to Digivolve, and really nice just to on play. But that fills up the level 3 line. There you go. Going on to a level 4, starting off with 4 copies of the EX7 Shoeshoemon. This is really good because it's when in Digivolving, if we have 1 or fewer tamers, we can play an Orisa from our hand for free. And the really good thing about it is even if we already have 1 Orisa, it lets us play a second one for free as well. So its effect is only dead if we either already have 2 or more Orisa, or we have 0 in our hands, so we have nothing to play out. But we want this at a high amount of copies because we really want to get the tame out for free. We want to see this out as soon as possible to get the tame out as soon as possible. Its Inheritable is the same, security -3000, won't go into detail. It has only 4 play cost, which does come up in one specific circumstance, or we can just hard play it. However, its effect isn't on play, so if we do play it out, it won't actually do anything. But the 4 play cost is nice. It's kind of surprising that it's such a low play cost. Next up, we're going into the most expensive card in deck. It's the first promo, the P135 Shoeshoemon. This is an expensive card, although I believe it is getting reprinted in the future. So if you don't have it, you might want to just hold off on buying it until later. When Digivolving, we can give one of our opponent's Digimon security attack -1, and they can't attack our Digimon to the end of their turn. This is really nice because, again, it's a nice defensive tool. The fact they also can't attack us means that they potentially don't have any good targets to attack because they can't attack us, security -1. Yeah, it's really nice defensively. Also, if we have an Orisa out on the field, this Digimon gains jamming. So if we have Orisa, no reason not to swing with this with jamming, because their Digimon can't attack us next turn anyways. So that's pretty cool. It has the same when attacking inheritable as the promo Shoemon of give one of opponent's Digimon minus 2000. Honestly, I think this card is very overrated for its price. I believe the price was justified when it was the only other shoeshoemon to fill in your numbers. But with the new card, I don't even know if this is super necessary. And if it is necessary, like I don't think you have to spend the price on it. It's cheaper to get the other stuff. But if you have it, it's nice as a 2 of. Same reasoning that it's more of a defensive card than offensive, so you don't need a lot of it. Going to the next card is 2 copies of the starter deck, shoeshoemon. According to one friend, he doesn't like this card because he says it's useless. But in my opinion, he's wrong, and that he's useless. It doesn't really have any effects, except it's the only level 4 that has overclock. However, it does have the really strong security effect, if it's hidden security, that lets us play any Liberator card with a play cost 4 or less from our hand or trash for free. This is really awesome. Obviously, we can play out any of our level 3s, well, the shoemons. It also lets us play out, for example, this shoeshoemon, because it is the 4 play cost, as mentioned before. And then it also lets us play any of our tamers, because they are, obviously a Liberator trait card with 4 play costs or less. So its security effect is super awesome. And because it's hand or trash, it's also very flexible what we can play out. Of course, it doesn't do anything when digivolving. It's the only shoeshoemon that doesn't do anything when it's digivolving, so I can understand that it kind of seems useless. But don't underestimate overclock. There's a number of scenarios when we don't have Cendrill, and we'll just swing out with a bunch of things, and we just need one more check. They're on 0 security, we just need one more check. Just digivolve onto something that's already swung, and then overclock, delete something else, swing for game. Especially with the security minus 3000 inheritables, it's surprising how often you'll have one level 3 live security. And then overclocking with this, instead of having to go into like Cendril or something, could be really beneficial. So even if it's not that good, I think the fact it has overclock as a level 4 is worth running 2 copies of just for that reason. It's kind of like the extra swing for game, and the security effect is the icing on the cake. Plus it's got a really nice like shininess to it. To fill out the shoeshoemon lineup is 2 copies of the latest promo, the P165 shoeshoemon, because we just have another promo for Shushu, which is cool. Cool as heck. This one also has a security effect. Wow. But instead of playing a Liberator card, it plays itself out like a normal kind of security effect. But this one's really brutal. On play or when digivolving, lets us play a familiar token, which if you somehow don't know is the 3000 Digimon that on deletion gives something minus 3000. This is really awesome because it finally gives us a way to get for level 4 to help the board get wider, because otherwise it was relying on the 1 level 5 or the Cendril. So this is an earlier way to start going wide, which makes this when digivolving quite nice. But also it's a full play cost and it's on play, so we can in some circumstances just hard play this and make the familiar token as well. This in particular is really deadly if they hit in security, because if they can't wipe our board afterwards, this plays out the familiar token, and that by itself is 2 extra swings that the opponent might not suspect. Unlike a normal security Digimon that might just be 1 swing, this can give us 2 swings. And that's not including having any tamers that do on deletion, rush, or that kind of shenanigans. Also, because it is the 4 play cost, if this shoeshoemon is hit in security, you can play out this one from a hand or trash to get the 2 bodies out. So which makes these 2 pair quite nicely together. I was actually running like 4 EX, 4 starter deck, 4 promo, but I feel like you only need 2 of this one when you have this one. And then we have 4 shoes. We can actually adjust the ratio. Again, when I go through a deck profile with none of the expensive promos, you can increase these to fill the gap of this, and it's actually not too bad. But yeah, 2 copies of the new Shushu. Going into the level 5, starting up with the starter deck, Cendrillmon. On play or when digivolving, although we are not going to be using the on play very often. One of our opponent's Digimon gets minus 3,000. If there's 3 or more Digimon out, it gets minus 6,000 instead. This is pretty nice. It can obviously remove a lot of level 4 lowers. And more importantly, it combos nicely with the Cendrillmon, because the minus 6,000 plus all the DP minus that Cendrill can give can help us remove most level 6 Digimon. So that's its main purpose. Both Cendrillmons have the same effect, which basically means if we would be removed by almost anything, we can delete one of our tokens or puppet Digimon in order to stay. Really good protection. It basically works against anything except Lilith, or obviously like Digivolve or DP minus. But yeah, protects us against battle or any form of removal. Only thing is we need something else to delete in order to do that effect. But if you have anything else, it's just really nice protection. So 3 copies of the Cendrillmon. I'm just going to quickly sign level 4s, try and fit level 5s on this row. Next up we have 3 copies of the EX7 Cendrillmon. She's the only level 5 which has overclock, which again could come up. Although level 5 of overclock comes up less for the final swing than level 4, but this can do some early swings itself, especially with its when digivolving, but lets us play a level 3 puppet from our hand for free. This obviously just instantly gives her the body to overclock with, although I still don't overclock with her that often. It's more if I really need to swing into something. But yeah, I like her because playing out a level 3 is always good. This Repo's weakness is that if the opponent has nothing out, she does nothing. This will always play out at level 3 if we have one in our hand. So both of them are good in their own way. And exactly the same inheritable gives us a really awesome protection. The final level 5 I run is 1 copy of the EX5 Edamon. It is a puppet Digimon, so it is searchable. On play or when digivolving, lets us give one of our opponent's Digimon minus 3,000 and taunts them, so they have to attack at the start of the main phase. This is really good with aces, and how many you run depends on how many aces you run. So you might run 1 or 2 copies depending on how many aces. If you really don't like it, you could just run more chaperones. I'm actually only running 7 level 5s because it's more like I'm playing it more low to the ground kind of deck. But obviously if you're running 8 level 5s, you could run 2 of this, or you could increase the chaperones, up to you. It's inheritable, doesn't come up often, but if they attack, we can reveal the top 3 and play out one of our rookies from the top 3 for free. Which, funny enough, could be the security -1 that could save us. But that's not the reason we're running it. We're running it to give a little DP minus and force them to attack. Perfect for aces. So 1 Edamon to fill in the level 5s. But yes, going into the level 6s, we have the main star of the show. 4 copies of the EX7 Cendrillmon. I like her way better than the starter deck. She's just way more aggressive and actually does something. Obviously she has overclock, and start of main and when digivolving makes a familiar token. So she just makes the 1 familiar token, but then at the start of your next turn she'll make 1 token, so next turn make 1 token. So basically every turn she'll make 1 token. So you won't have excess tokens if you keep overclocking with the token, but you're always guaranteed to have 1, kind of. But what I like about her is he also has just the when attacking, one of our opponent's Digimon gets minus 6,000. If we overclock and delete the familiar token, this will add up to minus 9,000. And again, with stuff like this, minus 3,000 or 6,000, minus 2,000 inheritable, minus 2,000 inheritable, minus 2,000 inheritable. These can all add up to help us delete a lot of Digimon we normally wouldn't. Because the when attacking isn't once per turn, if we're able to digivolve into her and keep turn, we can digivolve, swing, minus 6,000, and then end of turn overclock, swing again, minus 6,000 again. Her riskiest swing is her first swing because if we can't take out a lot of level 5s, it opens us up to a lot of level 6 aces. So it's kind of important that we kind of play it right, so we don't just swing into level 6 aces. And then level 7 aces, she doesn't have that good of a way to play around, because it's hard to instantly remove level 6s. But overall, very cool card. Love what she does. And I love the art for her too. To round out the level 6s, I run 2 aces, Valkyriemon ace, and Shadow Seraphimon ace. Valkyriemon ace is really nice for that board-wide minus 5,000, and then if they hit security, give an additional minus 8,000 to add up to 13 on one Digimon, and minus 5 to the rest. Just really good at board wiping and clearing a lot of weak Digimon. Shadow Seraphimon hits single Digimon that we have a hard time removing because it has D-Digivolve 3, and obviously none of our other stuff can D-Digivolve. And it's a blocker, which helps defensively. Then when we do block, we give minus 5,000. So both of these fulfill different roles. And there's another ace that I'll go into later that's also a very good fit. But these are 2 I've been running lately. This is just hit a lot of Digimon. This is hit one Digimon really hard. But yeah, both of those are good aces. Gives me 6 level 6s, which again, I only run 7 level 5, so I really want all my 5s to go into 6s. Final Digimon is 1 copy of Cendrillmon Burst Mode Ace. This is good because it catches a lot of people off guard, because they forget that level 7 aces are a thing. It lets us play a Tamer, and then gives one of our opponent's Digimon minus 5,000 for each Tamer we have out. So if we have 2 Tamers out, and we play a third, then it's minus 15,000, which can obviously just outright delete a Digimon. It's nice because if we pass on with Cendrillmon, which is what we often do, they know we can't go into these aces, and they might be able to just swing with everything for game. And this is just one card that can stop that. It also means if they swing into Cendrillmon itself, because Cendrillmon says 12k, this is a bigger Digimon. Also, it has security attack +1 for each Tamer we suspend when it attacks. So potentially can hit multiple security. The cool thing about aces is that our level 5 inherited effects to protect our Digimon doesn't rely on the Digimon itself being like Puppet or Liberator. We just have to delete something that's a token or puppet. So our inherited protection effects will work on the aces, which makes them more resistant to just being removed and losing that overflow, which is nice. So yeah, I definitely recommend 2 level 6 aces and the Shine level 7 ace. Going on to Tamers, we're starting off with 2 copies of the starter deck, Arisa. She's our memory setter, and if we play out Puppet Trait Digimon or token, specifically by an effect, we can give it Rush. Really good because we have so much that plays out stuff by effects. Any of the familiar tokens we can give Rush, swing with it. Level 3s we play out for free, Rush, swing with it. Really, really good, nice Tamer. I was running it at 3. We don't need 3 to obviously get more memory setting, but it's to more reliably see that Rush. Sometimes we do play out 2 things and we want to give multiple things Rush. It's not super critical to see multiple of them, but it's really critical to see 1. We finish the game a lot faster when we can give our stuff Rush. The next Tamer is 3 copies of the EX7 Arisa. She will gain us some memory at the start of our main phase if the opponent has a Digimon. So very easy memory gaining. And then if one of our tokens or puppets is deleted, we can play a level 3 from our hand for free. She's the main way to play out extra rookies, especially getting some searching, drawing, and because it's all turns, it lets us play this very reliably during the opponent's turn. Because they would like to delete our rookies so we don't swing, but then we just play out more rookies with this Tamer. 3 is a good number. If you don't see it all, it really slows our deck down and our grind game. But 4 feels a little bit overkill. So I feel like 3 is a good number for her. Lastly, I'm running, kind of testing 1 copy of the promo Arisa. Her on play lets us play specifically Shoemon from my hand for free, and then if we digivolve into a puppet, we can suspend her to gain a memory. I just feel like she's alright. We have other cards that play out level 3, so she kind of does a role that's already fulfilled. I do like the extra memory, because it's super easy to get the memory just by digivolving. And she does, I do like 7 Tamers. Again, we have, this can play Tamer out, this gets Dragon Forever Tamer, and our deck I feel just really relies on the Tamer, so I like 7. But I am debating about just taking her out and just going back to 3 of the memory setter, just to more reliably see play out extra bodies and rush, because I feel like seeing these 2 is more important than seeing her. But she's still alright for what she does. Going into the options, we have 4 copies of Physical Training. Not much else to say about this, it's just increases consistency by grabbing a card from the top 2. Because everything's yellow, we can grab anything. It gives us a more explosive turn later by being able to digivolve for 2 less by using this card. This is obviously good because one of the cards that helps us do 2 attacks with Cendrillmon in a turn. And just more consistently boosting. There's no reason not to run 4. You already have 2 come in the starter deck. So all we have to do is grab 2 more to fill that out. I run 1 copy of Wonderstomp, which again, this is a card that could be cut, but I find it's kind of cute and I like it. It's a 2 cost, it is Liberator trait, because it is one of the Liberator options. It lets us draw 1, then play a level 3 puppet from our hand without paying the cost. So it kind of does a similar role to her. This costs 1 less and lets us draw 1, but she will let us gain a memory when we digivolve. So she's better long term, this is better instantly. Security effect just activates the main effect, which funny enough, because it activates the main effect, is another way we can bring out the security tech -1 Shoemon during the opponent's turn. But yeah, I just like it. It's a very cheap way to play out something by an effect. You know, trigger that rush. Yeah, draw 1 kind of pays for itself. Only downside is if you don't have a level 3 to play out, or if it's not a level 3 that you really want to, you would spend the memory to play out. But overall it's pretty solid, and it's Liberator trait too. So I like it as a one-of, but it's kind of optional. And to finish off, there's 2 more slots in the deck, and I fulfilled that slots with 2 copies of Yellow Scramble, the newest option for the colours. This is really nice. So for 2 memory, it lets us digivolve a yellow Digimon into a yellow Digimon for 3 less. Obviously, if we use it, it can go to level 4 for free, it can go into a 5 for free, or it can go into Cendrillmon for 1 more. This can help us keep turn, because this costs 2, go into Cendrillmon for 1, and that's 3 total memory, so, you know, keep it on turn. So that 1 memory saving does come up. Also, it has a delay effect at the start of our turn. If the opponent has a Digimon, we're going to put 1 Digimon from our trash to the top of the deck. Then if we don't have any Digimon, we then also get to play out a 2000 DP Digimon from our trash for free. So this has 2 uses. Firstly, if the opponent has a Digimon, we can just put any Digimon from a trash to the top of our deck at the start of turn, and then we will draw for turn and get that card. Or if we... Yeah, so we only have like 4 Cendrillmons, we only have 7 level 5s. We might just run out of stuff, but this will kind of get us whatever piece we're missing. And the second effect to play out a rookie, if we have an empty board, is really nice, because sometimes they've cleared our board, you know, we're so close to winning, but we have no Digimon out. But this can play out Digimon, and then our Tamer can give it Rush, so we can instantly swing with it. And there's a bunch of cool things we can do with that. So it's just, in this deck, because of the ability we can give our rookies Rush, this is nice at 2. Most decks would run it as a one-of, just a really good, like, late game card kind of thing. But I feel like this deck, I really like seeing it. It's really hard to stop that extra swing if they board wipe us. So I really like it too. So that's the main deck profile, so feel free to take a screenshot of this, comment any questions and whatnot. The rest of the video now we'll just be talking about different options. Firstly, starter deck Cendrillmon is an option. I don't really like her. She's the better defensive one. She makes 2 familiar tokens instead of 1. She costs 3 to Digivolve instead of 4. And she has blocker, most importantly. So she can attack and block. And because she makes 2 tokens, it's easier for her to overclock and then still have a token out for that inherited protection effect if she's on like the Chaperone. However, she just doesn't do a lot when attacking. There's no when attacking effect. She can't really remove things. She's just kind of like a sticky blocker that's just there. But you feel free to run one of her. The other ace consideration is Cendrillmon ace, which is actually the most expensive one, like money-wise. I kind of feel it's a bit average in this deck. Our board is wide, but we don't often go wide enough to play out a Cendrillmon in like deleter level 6. Because it's only minus 4,000 for every other Digimon, and it does play out a Digimon for free. But I feel like it sometimes just doesn't give enough DP minus. And before this shoeshoemon, none of our level 4s have any on-play effects. So we need to bring out like a level 3 for on-play, and I feel like that's kind of not as good for what Cendrillmon does. And this one's cool because it means we bring out Cendrillmon, bring out shoeshoemon, make another familiar token. It just doesn't do a lot, or not a lot, but it's not as good as these two in order to actually protect us when they do swing. This is more of a, cool, we can remove one thing, maybe, and then it brings us more bodies, which means we can swing. It also has Alliance, so we can do a really big swing, and just try and win next turn. So this is really good to try and win the turn after you ace, but I feel like it's not as good, just because it relies on us having multiple bodies. And both of these aces don't rely on us having multiple bodies, you know, just give board wide, minus DP, and this is just Digivolve and stuff. So I just feel like it's not as good for the defensive purposes, but it's really good for winning the turn afterwards. But yeah, obviously you can feel free to change any of those for the Cendrillmon ace. Put it at the bottom. You put the Cendril at the bottom. Other considerations, there is the removal, the one that comes in the deck, Noble Family Arts. Minus 6,000 if there's 3 or more Digimon, gives a further minus 6,000. The problem is that using this before we overclock normally means we pass turn, and obviously after we attack, you know, we've probably passed turn anyways. So it just feels awkward to use this. Minus 12,000 doesn't... There's so many Digimon I feel like now that are getting stronger. The minus 12,000 isn't enough. Like it needed to be minus 13 or something in my opinion. Also the fact that security effect activates main means it might only do minus 6,000 as a security effect, and it'd be so much better if it did at least minus 12. Just make it like Heaven's Judgment, just minus 12 as a security effect. But yeah, the fact that costs 5 is really nice if you do remove something with it. But I feel like the times I miss out on totally removing something makes me not like this card. But the deck actually has no removal options, so this is definitely a consideration, or any other of the generic yellow removal options. So let's say you don't have any of the promos, what would you replace them with? This shoemon, its main replacements are the Pawn Chessmon and Junkmon. I would personally, you could take out 2 of these just for 2 Junkmon, easy. You can also consider, if you want a defensive card, the black Pawn Chessmon. On deletion is the same as on play, to trash a puppet and draw 2. However, this one is a blocker. So again, we could play out something during the opponent's turn, and then we have a blocker, which means we can block their final swing for game, and then we can win the turn after that. So I would probably take out either one shoemon or a white Pawn Chessmon for a black Pawn Chessmon, and then maybe take another one out for the Junkmon, is probably how I'd split it. Again, it costs 1 to Digivolve, so I don't want too many Chessmons in the deck. Definitely 3 maximum, because of how many... Yeah, I don't want to pay 1 to Digivolve. But the nice one plays. This one also is a searcher, but it's not as good because it relies on it being undeleted, so it's better defensively then this to on play search. But definitely consideration too. And you can replace any of these with one or two copies of this if you want to. If you don't have access to or don't want to spend the money on the first shoeshoemon promo, the P135, I would just take out these two. Simplest option is just to increase the starter deck one by 2 to 4, because you'll have 4 from the 2 starter decks. So running 4, 4, and then 2 of the newer one, which is cheaper. Doing that will also give you the funny thing of having 6 shoemons that have security effects, which makes our security surprisingly dangerous. Not in terms of removal, but in terms of getting out free bodies to swing at. Alternatively, if you do have more copies of this shoeshoemon, you can take out this one for this one, which is cheaper. You can also run like a 3-3 split, which again would still make you have 6 security effects. Yeah. If you're really wanting to be funny and you can have maximum security effects, you could have 4 of this one, 4 of this one, and just 2 of the one that plays Narissa, which I would not recommend doing, but it's just funny to have a lot of security Digimon out. And then obviously promo Risa, I'm already debating how good she is, so I would just take her out and put in 3 of this one, run a 3-3 split. Again, running 3 memory tamers isn't as common nowadays, but I feel like the rush is really important to have. Yeah, anyway, I hope you enjoyed the deck profile. Feel free to comment any suggestions and whatnot, and I hope you enjoyed. Before I go, one funny interaction with the Scramble, especially with the Arisa with Rush, is if we have her unsuspended at the start of our turn, we'll use this effect to play out a rookie. Then we will suspend her to give it Rush. Because this is start of turn, it's before we unsuspend everything. So then we will unsuspend her. This is Rush. Then it can, like, for example, Digivolve, make the familiar token, and then we can suspend her to give it Rush again. So even though we only had 1 tamer to give Rush, we can actually give 2 things Rush in the same turn with the yellow Scramble, because it's before the unsuspend phase. So that's like a funny little thing that can potentially let us do a lot of swings. Anyway, won't keep you any longer. Hope you enjoy. I'll catch you next time. K-Time out.